For over 160 years, YWCA has been on a mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. For all. That means women and girls, people of color, victims of domestic and sexual violence, for survivors and fighters and builders of all kinds. A tall order, right? Not with your help. As our nation nurses the deep wounds of racial injustice and the COVID-19 pandemic rages on, YWCA's work has never been more urgent. Women have been hit hard by lost jobs, lost wages, and lost childcare. Girls are missing school time while their families struggle with financial uncertainty, and communities of color are struggling under the weight of COVID-19's disparate impact on their health and the devastation of racial injustice. At YWCA, we hear their voices every day. We work directly with real people living real lives. We know the crises facing our nation right now are enormous, but together, we have the power to make a difference, to pass legislation and establish policies that give communities the resources to rebuild so that women and girls can thrive. Yes, together, because none of us can go it alone. With your help, we can bolster childcare and early learning programs for working mothers. We can protect survivors of violence of all kinds. We can build economic security, fair workplaces, racial equity, and mental health support for women and families in need. With your help, we can mend the pieces of our fractured nation. Sit with us. Let's talk about the path forward. Let's rebuild together.
Aloha! I'm Grace Lee with Hawaii News Now, and I'm here at the YWCA Oahu's historic YWCA building in downtown Honolulu, in front of this striking mural that you just watched come to life by Honolulu-based artist Chris Goto. Now, this mural is a tribute to the 7 women trailblazers who shared YWCA Oahu's legacy over the last 121 years. The YWCA Oahu is celebrating 121 years of opening doors of opportunity for women for growth, leadership, and change. The YWCA offers a unique place, a place where women and girls can build long-lasting relationships, move forward in life, and give back to their community. The 3 centers, Fernhurst, Kokokahi, and Laniakea, provide programs and services that develop women and girls' social, economic, and community building skills. The YWCA Oahu is on a mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all people. To further this mission, each year, the YWCA Oahu recognizes 4 outstanding women who exemplify a commitment to community service and inspire others to succeed. This year, you're going to meet our 2021 honorees up close while learning about some of the programs that worked aimed at creating opportunity and advocating for equity and diversity. The YWCA Oahu 2021 Leader Luncheon celebration starts right now.
Our beginning dates back all the way to the spring of 1900. There was an individual who identified herself as a working woman. She wrote a letter to a local newspaper urging the creation of YWCA in Honolulu. Soon after women in Honolulu read that letter, they actually got together and then decided to make YWCA. Because working women at that time, including those in Honolulu, they didn't have a place to have lunch. They didn't have a place to take a break. They couldn't even use the bathroom in the building they were working in. Everybody thought there should be a place, safe place for working women where they can stay, with a transitional permanent, and then also a place where they can, go study, pick up a new skills, and then learn a new topic, and also make friends, and also just relax. And that's how it began. YWCA Oahu has stayed relevant with the community because we have been consistent with our mission. We always have advocated for women and girls and also advocated for the fair treatment. And to this day, for the women and girls of Oahu and Hawaii and around the country. But also, we have been very consistent in providing whether employment opportunities or workforce development opportunities. So when they come here, they can pick up new skills and they can get some help so that they can continue, their career in lives. And then also, if they lost their jobs, there was always a help with us. And we have been very consistent with that. And then also for those who need help, whether escaping, some life-challenging situations like domestic violence, sexual assault, or women, transitioning out of incarceration, we always have provided safe transitional housing for them. And then also all those job readiness training so that they can move on with their lives.
Imagine a time when there were no events in Hawaii dedicated entirely to celebrating the accomplishments of local women leaders. That'll change when YWCA Oahu hosts the very first Leader Luncheon on November 18th, 1977. On that day, 5 women were inducted as the inaugural members of YWCA Oahu's Distinguished Academy of Honorees. The Leader Luncheon is YWCA Oahu's time to focus attention on the profound impact that women make, not only on this community, but throughout the world. It is an opportunity to bring the community together to celebrate barriers broken by women and to shine a light on the possibilities for a society where leadership is not limited by race or gender or even economic status. While major strides have been made, and we have made history with the country's first female vice president in office, we're proud of that, there is still so much more work that needs to be done. There needs to be more female representation in top-level leadership roles and on corporate boards. Over the course of the Leader Luncheon's history, YWCA Oahu has honored women from a diverse cross-section of professional fields and community work. Past Leader Luncheon honorees include educators, journalists, entrepreneurs, civic leaders, corporate and nonprofit executives, civic advocates, and even more. To date, Leader Luncheon counts 195 local women honorees throughout its 44 years, including the 4 women who you will meet in this program. Women continue to face unique challenges in providing for their families, pursuing their careers, and paving the way for positive change. From the gender wage gap to inadequate representation of women in executive positions, these topics are still making headlines today. The Leader Luncheon draws attention to these important issues while providing hope for the future. YWCA Oahu is grateful for all of the honorees, staff, volunteers, supporters, and women and men who have made leadership a part of our community for 44 years. The mission of empowering women continues. We look forward to celebrating women's leadership for years to come.
So first impression of YWCA was my very special place. My mother worked in downtown, and so it was an easy place for us to have summer and winter programs as a child. And I took swim lessons at the pool behind us, and I remember being here every Sunday doing that. And then as I grew up as an adult, I learned much more about their mission and the opportunities that it provided for women leaders in our community. I think I look back and I look at the type of mentors that I've had in my life, and my mother was a very strong mentor, and she was a businesswoman in our community as well, and she was a single mother, was very well respected in our business community, and I think I learned a lot from her, and it was just the type of lessons that she provided. Keep trying and always persevere through things, and I think that was really important for me. And for those that don't have those types of mentors, this is a place that we really look to be able to have those types of mentors. And I think mentorship is a huge part of being successful as a business leader. Well, we have, of course, a very long-standing history in our community, one of the largest long-standing women's organization. And not just in Hawaii, we are a large nationally known organization. And so to keep that history, and the type of mission that we are trying to continue to deliver and represent in our community. It's really important. LeaderLuncheon typically selects 3 for-profit organizations and 1 nonprofit, and sometimes there's differences there, but we always want to recognize not just the for-profit organizations and those women leaders, but also partners or other very well-known nonprofits that contribute in our community and the success that they've had as well. And so it's been wonderful to have over 180 past honorees over our 44 years of this event. And they are fabulous women, and they have so much energy and really great pillars in our community. Of course, it is our fundraiser, but more importantly, it is sharing the mission of the YWCA into our community and letting everybody know what we do. And I really feel that it's very important for us to continue on to celebrate those women that have done such wonderful work in our community.
As we celebrate this year's Leader Luncheon honorees, we'd like to take a moment to recognize the 2020 honorees. Kathy Betts, the Director of Human Services, she was selected as a 2020 honoree for her work in advocacy for women, family law, violence prevention, Title IX, labor protections for workers, economic justice, and prevention of gender-based violence. Kathy has recently served on the board of directors for the Hawaii Filipino Lawyers Association and Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children Committee with the Family Court of the First Circuit. 2020 Leader Luncheon honoree Judy Bishop is the owner, president, and CEO of Bishop & Company, an award-winning recruiting and staffing firm. Judy opened her first recruiting firm in Louisiana at the age of 25 and was active in the YWCA during her time on the mainland. She continues to be a strong supporter of women's causes, particularly initiatives that relate to economic and career advancement. Judy has been a mentor and volunteer for Scheidler College of Business and the Society for Human Resources. Another 2020 Leader Luncheon honoree, Shelly Kramer, Vice President and General Manager of Hawaii's first Saks Fifth Avenue store inside the International Marketplace in Waikiki. Now, Shelly's long-standing career of retail industry expertise, management, and marketing has brought her to world-class companies such as Louis Vuitton, Cartier, and Montblanc. She's an avid community supporter by dedicating her time to her alma mater. That would be the Sacred Hearts Academy, as well as to the Hawaiian Humane Society. Jill Shimokawahiga was also honored at the 2020 Leader Luncheon. Jill has been a member of the Bank of Hawaii Managing Committee since 2009 and is responsible for overseeing the branch banking group. She has held a variety of managerial positions at the bank, including leadership roles in product management, commercial banking, consumer lending, and people services group. Jill also serves on the board of directors for the American Red Cross of Hawaii. So as you can see, all of the Leader Luncheon honorees exemplify YWCA Oahu's mission to help build a more equitable, diverse, and productive Hawaii for our community. So we want to say mahalo to Kathy, Judy, Shelly, and Jill.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at his secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
Good teams have strength, speed, and accuracy. But great teams are built on something even more powerful: tradition, shared values, a sense of family, and a deep connection to the community. As a local insurance company, Island is here for you and here for Hawaii. I'm Marcus Mariota, and my team is Island Insurance.
You can't test this.
Introducing the new contactless debit card from Bank of Hawaii.
You can't test this. for a safer and faster way to pay.
You can't touch this.
Just tap and pay
You can't touch this.
with your card or your phone. It's that easy.
You can't touch
And
this.
we're the only local bank that will be mailing a new contactless card to every debit card holder. Because when it comes to our commitment to helping you bank safely, as the song says, you can't touch this. Bank of Hawaii, welcome to tomorrow.
You can't touch this.
I'm actually really honored. I've actually attended the Leader Luncheon in the past and have always been so impressed by the honorees at that luncheon. And to think that I've been included as part of that group is just really humbling to me. YWCA has an amazing mission. By supporting women and girls, it really strengthens our community, and it's something that's so important, something that I appreciate very, very much.
I was born and raised here in Salt Lake. I was adopted about 5 years old. I went to foster care about 16 years old, and then went to foster home to foster home. I did graduate from high school, Mauna High School, back in '96. Went to Hawaii Job Corps, to business there, and then I graduated from Remington College in the medical field. So I got a medical assistant's job at Kaliuplama, and then I eventually ventured out to Kapilani Hospital. From there, I was going through issues at home, domestic violence. So I was, getting into trouble because I was going through too much at home. So I decided to quit and then went to Safeway Kapahulu. And then I ended up in the domestic violence shelter. The domestic violence shelter had referred me to Dress for Success. You get to learn about yourself, what you're capable of doing. You get to learn, about everything and things that I never even know I can do. It's not just a new outfit, it's being confident, being able to do something, be able to find something you are worthy for. It's amazing. It's important to support Dress for Success for women that doesn't have confidence, that thinks that, they're not good enough, and, get them on their feet.
This year is the 100th anniversary of Fernhurst. Located in Makiki, this 3-story complex currently houses women who are working toward rebuilding their lives after challenging circumstances such as incarceration, domestic violence, and sex trafficking. Making major life changes such as these, it's really not easy. It is difficult to find employment and a place to live. All of these women want to better their lives for themselves, their families, and their children. When Fernhurst first opened in 1921, the original Fernhurst building, that stood at the cross-section of Alapa'i and King Streets in Honolulu. It was designed by famous female architect Julia Morgan. The Fernhurst land and building, they were donated to YWCA Oahu by the Atherton family. Mrs. Juliet M. Atherton played a pivotal role in making this gift to honor her daughter, who had died in 1919. Fernhurst is said to be named for the many ferns that grew around the property, likely planted by Mrs. Atherton, who was actually a botanist. And by gifting Fernhurst to YWCA Oahu, Mrs. Atherton sowed the seeds for what would become a special place in Honolulu, with a history of cultivating hope for women and girls in our community. In 1952, Fernhurst was then relocated to Makiki, where it stands today. Although Fernhurst has undergone renovations over the years and hosted many people who have walked through its doors, its mission, that is timeless, to serve those in need. In the early 2000s, the home-based program was established at Fernhurst to provide transitional housing and services for vulnerable women looking to build financial stability toward permanent housing. In 2015, YWCA Oahu introduced to Fernhurst the state's only community-based work furlough program for women who are transitioning out of incarceration. This program was named Kahale Ho'ala, Hono na Wahine, or the home of reawakening for women. YWCA Oahu's Fernhurst is a site where these women experience deep healing, are surrounded by staff who understand the importance of cultural connection and a safe environment. The participating women are offered 6 months or more of affordable housing at Fernhurst, which includes access to the job assistance and emotional support as well. The cost of running programs like this, they're vast, and they require year-round fundraising. That is why it's vital to have the support of the community out there. YWCA Oahu recognizes that in this work, it is not a one-size-fits-all approach, as every woman is different. These women are mothers, their daughters, sisters, and aunties, and each woman has a unique story. We'd like to have you hear one such story from a woman who has benefited from Fernhurst programs and is starting a new chapter in her life. Please meet Michelle.
What got me into prison was promoting drugs, and that got me into a world of trouble because of my addiction. I was thinking about going back home before I came to Fernhurst, and then there was just this little voice inside that said, go to Fernhurst, and it was the best decision I made. I've never had so much support from people that I didn't know. So Fernhurst has totally helped me heal on the inside and helped me to recognize some of the things that I never knew about myself before, which helped me to become more open to being accepting to a lot of things. Because I was kind of like a rigid person, black and white, had to meet high standards. And then because I couldn't meet them, I just kind of fell back into my old ways, which is drug addiction. So when I came to Fernhurst, Fernhurst helped me to see the patterns and the cycles and what actually triggered those things, and then how I am as a person and how I relate to things so that I'm more aware of things when they happen. And I give myself a break, you know, and how to love myself more. And then classes with Auntie Mahia were really, really important. Coming straight from prison, reintegrating back into society. Having those classes with her really helped me tremendously because, like I was mentioning before, it helped me to realize who I am, why I react certain ways, and how to get past it. And that was the building block of my foundation here. And I believe that anyone that comes here will have a very successful foundation once they go through those classes, because they'll better understand themselves. And I think that's the biggest part of why people, or why I myself actually went backwards, you know, for a while in my life, is because I didn't understand myself. And today I understand myself a lot better because of those classes. So where I want to go, well, I'm already partly there. I'm going back to reunite with my family on the Big Island. I haven't seen them for well, it's probably been about 6 years. So my youngest daughter was about 5 years old when I went into my drug addiction, and now she's 11. So this is a big, you know, big moment in my life and their life that's gonna be another healing moment. So we're gonna build our relationships. We talk a lot, but I haven't seen 2 of my grandsons. I have 5 grandsons. I didn't see 2 of them, but now I'll get to see them and meet them and hold them. And yeah, this is just another healing part in our journey all together. My family, my children are so excited. My grandchildren are so excited. I get to be there for some special moments: birthday, first birthday, 2 graduations, Easter. So I'm excited. I know they're excited too.
The YWCA has been a pillar in the community for 120 years and counting. They have risen to the needs and the changing needs of women in our community year after year. Every single woman in this state can benefit from any service that the YWCA offers. They have been one of the most resilient organizations that our state has benefited from. And every challenge that women face today has been addressed by the YWCA in some way, shape, or form. It is an amazing organization that I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here as a very humble honoree, but I have followed the YWCA for decades, and the mission and the values of the YWCA are more important today than ever, and it'll be even more important going forward.
Make sure you're connected, the writing's on the wall, 'cause if your mind's neglected, stumble you might fall,
Connection is a human necessity, one we need today more than ever. And with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances. And it all starts with yes.
Because Haumea loves to dance. Because Jaina dreams of a cancer-free future. Because Guy knows why preventive care matters. You are why we're reimagining healthcare. To give you more choices. To be there for you. To see you in new ways. Hawaii Pacific Health.
Congratulations to Dr. Angela Pratt and all the amazing women who are being honored this year by the YWCA at their virtual Leader Luncheon. They are all so deserving because they lead by example the mission of the YWCA, which is to eliminate racism and empower women, something that every community should support.
Now, I have the pleasure of introducing you to our 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honorees. These 4 extraordinary local women leaders shine as amazing examples of professionalism, service, and inspiration for our community. Up first is Tori Abe Carapello, President and Chief Executive Officer of Navian Hawaii, formerly Hospice Hawaii, you might remember. Tori oversees the operations of the 42-year-old nonprofit organization. She provides leadership in strategic planning, development, staff relations, and finance. Tori previously served as Navian Hawaii's Chief Strategy Officer, overseeing marketing and fundraising, admissions, and more. She is Vice President on the Board of Directors for Kokua Mau and is a member of the Hospice Leadership Committee for the Healthcare Association of Hawaii, the Council of States for National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, as well as the State Health Planning and Development Agency's Honolulu Sub-Area Committee. Please meet 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honoree, Tori Abe Carapello.
I'm President and CEO of Navian Hawaii, which was formerly Hospice Hawaii. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization started by the community for the community and specialize in hospice and integrated care. I was actually working for a marketing firm at the time, and I had an unexpected encounter with our then president, who was looking for someone to help him with some marketing. And I'm actually really embarrassed to admit, but I didn't even know what hospice was. And I kind of put him off for a while, not really thinking about it. But that was a pivotal point in my career, because when I had an opportunity to learn a little bit about hospice and learn about the, what they do, I don't even think there's words to describe the care and the compassion that the hospice team brings to patients and families during their most vulnerable moments. And it was because of that I actually ended up going to work for what was then Hospice Hawaii as the Director of Marketing and Development, and that was 13 years ago. I'm actually a very shy person. I don't like to talk to people, and for some reason I found myself early in my career in a sales role. I remember my first sales call on my own. I had gone to the business and I was getting ready to walk through the door, and I turned around and I walked the other way, and I must have went back and forth 4 or 5 times before I went in. I didn't have confidence in myself, which is what created this unnecessary anxiety. And so what I learned from that was you really have to have confidence and believe in yourself so that you can venture outside of your comfort zone and really empower yourself to be all that you can be. And I think that has really developed me into who I am today. And that's actually something that I think that every woman in business should definitely have. Somebody who's going to be able to help them to build their skills, who will advocate for them when appropriate. Because you'll be surprised at how many people want to help you and want to see you succeed. So I would encourage everyone to not be afraid and just accept the support that they have out there. I believe so much in the mission of the YWCA and what they do for women and girls in our community. I would love to see a world where there was no men or women. We were all the same and we were treated the same. And we really have to break that stigma and be able to, to stand up for ourselves. I know a few years ago I had read this book called Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and she talked about women being able to sit at that table. And we have to do that. We have to encourage ourselves to have the confidence to be able to create that equality that is so necessary.
It's a great honor to join the Academy here at the YWCA Leaders Luncheon. I really think about the mission, that it's about eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting justice, peace, and freedom and dignity for all. It's really that last part for me, dignity for all, that encapsulates everything. And why it's so important that there are these women, these trailblazers who have opened the door, that have promoted equitable working, living, everything for others as a shared goal. And I really think that's what Hawaii and our shared values stand for.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at a secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
Good teams have strength, speed, and accuracy. But great teams are built on something even more powerful: tradition, shared values, a sense of family, and a deep connection to the community. As a local insurance company, Island is here for you and here for Hawaii. I'm Marcus Mariota, and my team is Island Insurance.
You can't test this.
Introducing the new contactless debit card from Bank of Hawaii.
You can't test this.
For a safer and faster way to pay.
You can't test this.
Just tap and pay.
You can't test this.
With your card or your phone. It's that easy.
You can't test
And
this.
we're the only local bank that will be mailing a new contactless card to every debit card holder. Because when it comes to our commitment to helping you bank safely, as the song says, you can't touch this. Bank of Hawaii, welcome to tomorrow.
You can't test this.
Imagine eliminating racism.
Imagine.
Imagine empowering women.
Imagine.
Imagine justice.
Imagine.
The YWCA Oahu has been uplifting women and their families for over 120 years. From promoting leadership, helping women break the cycle of poverty and violence, to advocating for racial and social justice. Give and get involved. YWCA Oahu.
Imagine. Welcome back to YWCA Oahu, a 2021 Leader Luncheon celebration. Our next 2021 Leader Luncheon honoree is Iris Y. Matsumoto. Iris joined First Hawaiian Bank in 1998, where she managed the bank's general and executive compensation and benefits strategies for employees, not only in Hawaii, the mainland, Guam, and Saipan. Now, as Executive Vice President of Human Resources, Iris is a member of First Hawaiian Bank's Senior Management Committee. Diligent and dedicated, Iris manages everything from overseeing talent acquisition to employee relations. Under her leadership, First Hawaiian Bank was named one of Hawaii Business Magazine's best places to work for 10 consecutive years. She currently serves on the boards of First Hawaiian Foundation and Hugs Hawaii. Please meet 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honoree, Iris Y. Matsumoto.
I'm Executive Vice President at First Hawaiian Bank, and I was born and raised on the Big Island in a small town called Ke'au. Went to school there, proud graduate of Hilo High School, and went to the University of Hawaii at Hilo and then transferred to Manoa. Then started my career here, working at, if some of you remember, Liberty House, way back when. Then worked at Hawaiian Airlines and then did several different organizations, went to Maui, and then 22 years ago, started at First Hawaiian, and here I am. As Executive Vice President of Human Resources, I oversee all of the HR operations and initiatives, the strategies of the bank. We have about 65% of our employees are women, and it really, really gives me pleasure to work with the amazing women and the men that support us. To be an honoree this year of the YWCA Leader Luncheon is especially meaningful for me. Well, first of all, it's extremely humbling. When I have seen all of the honorees in the past, many who I've admired, really appreciate and thank our CEO, Bob Harrison, for nominating me for this very esteemed award. Every woman deserves an honor such as this. By nature, this honor is individual, but I personally accept this award, as I told Bob, representing the 2,100 employees of the bank, and especially all the women. We have an amazing group of women leaders with us. What 2020 showed me is the significance of empathy. Empathetic leadership became the forefront of what 2020 was all about. It highlighted the qualities that women have, and going forward, that will become a significant leadership quality. And if I can offer a bit of advice to the future women leaders out there, I'd say look for your opportunity. If it's not there, make it. Create your own opportunity. And if you succeed or fail, you've learned. You've learned from it. And you're better for it. So go for it. Just go for it. The future of women leaders, whatever industry, is so bright.
The biggest misconception that people have of people coming out of prison is that they're going to fall back into recidivism. If they ever did a little bit of research, they'd find out there's a lot more people that come out of Fernhurst successful and move forward and have, great lives, productive lives, and are very active in the community than there is people that have fell back into their old patterns. And I just feel like if they just give the women chances to allow themselves to heal they'll see that this does make a big difference. I mean, Fernhurst definitely changed me from the inside out. I believe that anybody that gives Fernhurst a chance is going to find that it's going to change their life forever. YWCA's programs are important because they help each individual heal from the inside out. And that is what I believe is what makes a person successful in whatever they do. So if they choose to reunite with their family, or they choose to go and be someone in a professional career, or whether they choose to just go and make lays or weed whack. It doesn't matter, because they've already healed on the inside, and now whatever healing happened on the inside is projected on the outside. So YWCA is super important to helping each individual heal, and then they go out into the community and they're better people, and the community is a better place. Anyone that wants to support YWCA would definitely benefit from supporting YWCA, because they're changing the community. They're making the community a better place with changing one person at a time.
Our next 2021 Leader Luncheon honoree, Rachel Wong, certainly has made her own powerful and inspirational impact. Rachel is a founder of One Shared Future, which offers community building, professional development programs that bridge together our public, private, and nonprofit sectors. She's also the co-founder of the Safe Spaces and Workplaces Initiative, a partnership between One Shared Future and Child and Family Service, partnership aimed at ending workplace sexual harassment in Hawaii. Born and raised in Hawaii, Rachel has continually dedicated her career to improving quality of life for others. Her passion, public health background, and proactive path has led her to previous positions in the State Department of Human Services, in nonprofit leadership roles at the Healthcare Association of Hawaii, Kokua Mao, and the Hawaii Consortium for Integrative Care. Please meet 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honoree, Rachel Wong.
I'm born and raised here, 5th generation Chinese, grew up in Manoa Valley, where I now live in my grandmother's house. I'm so fortunate to call Hawaii home. Went away to college, where I was diagnosed with lupus, chronically ill, critically ill for many years, and learned what's important in life. And it's how we spend our time, it's how much we love, it's how we're loved and how we give back. Living with chronic illness and lupus throughout the years, slowly affected my kidneys. I stand here today, as a product of not just the healthcare system and the expertise, also as a kidney transplant recipient. I've had the privilege of working with different nonprofits, and when then Governor-elect Ige asked me to join his administration in his first term to lead the Department of Human Services, that gave me a perspective and a way to serve at a higher level, being responsible, and really feeling the kuleana for taking care of people across the state. So in 2017, I co-founded a hui of us, One Shared Future, which is a social impact business that was born out of my experience working in the state. We all got together, and in 2019, we co-founded the Safe Spaces and Workplaces Initiative. And the goal of that is to address and end workplace sexual harassment in Hawaii. And that came out of many people's experiences, women, men, and in my case, I had a very public workplace sexual harassment complaint that was front page news. It was when the Me Too movement had just started and had taken off across the country and the globe. So with Safe Spaces and Workplaces, we immediately reached out to several employers to see if they would be part of the founding champions. And YWCA Oahu was one of them. So it's so important because the work that the YWCA Oahu does is it not just fills the gap, it nurtures people so they can come back to the starting blocks if they've dropped behind. If it's transitioning out of the prison system, it's giving people that momentum to propel them, which impacts not just those women, it's their children and future generations. I wanted to acknowledge the One Shared Future team of women who nominated me for this. And I want to do that because it's mainly women. We do have one male, we're balanced. And they did so in a real One Shared Future collaborative way, reaching out to other people in the community to be part of telling the story. And I think of that because that is a strength of women, is to work together, to nurture each other, to lift each other up. And that's what the YWCA Oahu does.
Make sure you're connected. The writing's on the wall. 'Cause if your mind's neglected, stumble you might fall,
Connection is a human necessity, one we need today more than ever. And with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances. And it all starts with yes.
Good teams have strength, speed, and accuracy. But great teams are built on something even more powerful: tradition, shared values, a sense of family, and a deep connection to the community. As a local insurance company, Island is here for you and here for Hawaii. I'm Marcus Mariota, and my team is Island Insurance.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. So our work goes on until the land of the free is free of racism, and the home of the brave is brave enough to change. Until by the people and for the people means doing right by all the people. Until justice just is.
Being the 2021 honoree is a really incredible honor. YWCA has been around since the 1900s. They actually create opportunities for women to thrive. And, they talk about making a peaceful space for everyone, about justice, but about creating opportunities. And, our community needs this organization to be able to help us navigate the future. So when the organization singles the four of us out and me, one of the lucky ones, I'm so blessed because it means that I also get to be a part of an organization that is so timely at this point, leading us into the diversity that we all need to see, and justice for everyone and the fabric of this community. And so it's very much an honor for me to be selected.
On Maui, I had met somebody. We were supposed to go hiking, and I got to her house, and there were all these pieces of rubber on her kitchen table, and she said, I got an order from the Gecko stores for rubber stamps, and I have to make 400 of them, and so I can't go hiking. And I'm like, I work in the hotel, and I have 2 days off, and I want to go hiking. So I started let's just blow through this and get this done. So I started helping her make rubber stamps, and next thing you know, that was it. I started as her partner in the rubber stamp business. And I knew nothing about rubber stamps. I was not a rubber stamper. I didn't get it. And people would just swarm at the craft fair booths and swarm at the swap meet. And I didn't understand it until I started realizing that it was an art tool, a creative tool. And I fell in love with them. And so one of the challenges was figuring out how to make that transition from selling retail and selling at craft fairs to wholesaling. We had mentors that had offered their help, and I think one of the huge challenges is that we do need help, and there are problems that arise in every part of the business. And so I was so grateful to find when I moved here that there were workshops and classes and counseling that the Women's Business Center offered, and they always had resources, SBA resources available. They seemed to just know everything. But I also needed to look to the future. And I had reached out looking for business counseling. And I ended up getting an email that said, after I actually had a session, a business counseling session, And this cohort popped up on my email, and I thought, oh my God, even though it said, growing businesses, and I thought, well, you know what? I am growing. I'm still growing. I'm still growing personally. I'm still growing as far as an entrepreneur and a businesswoman, and my business is still growing. So I applied, and I was accepted, and this cohort was amazing. How to present your business, evaluating your business, on all levels, financially, product development, product initiation, how to manage your time and your energy and your resources. The Ming Center brought in experts in their fields. So we had financial planners come in, we had banks come in, and actual money resources come in and talk to us about the process and what's available out there. We even had a business coach come in and talk about how to manage our lives and keep balance in our lives as we're entrepreneurs and small business people, because that's a really, really tough thing. MCBL also offers a similar program for startups as well, which, if I was starting up, it would be phenomenal.
Our next 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honoree, Dr. Angela Pratt, works tirelessly on the front lines to advance women's health. Dr. Pratt has received numerous accolades, including Honolulu Magazine's Doctor of the Year, and features in Best Doctors in America and Good Morning America. She's chair of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Kapiolani Medical Center, the clinical director of minimally invasive surgery, and a clinical assistant professor at John A. Burns School of Medicine. She also has her own private practice, and she is the co-founder of Hawaii Beauty and Wellness Center. In 2017, she created the Angela Pratt Endowment, a contribution that will help further faculty, student, and resident training on neighbor islands and research in Native Hawaiian women's health. Dr. Pratt has been a mentor to students in the Girls Got Grit program at Sacred Hearts, an example of commitment to support the next generation of women leaders. Please meet 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honoree, Dr. Angela Pratt.
I was born and raised in Kaneohe, and I grew up as a little girl always wanting to be a doctor. I didn't always believe I could, but that's what I always wanted. I had a very amazing mom. She was from the mainland, came here at 17, met my dad, and my father was a Native Hawaiian woodcarver. My father did koa bowls. He worked with Native Hawaiian woods. But what we had was a family business. My father was a businessman, but an artist. So when I went off to college and I decided I wanted to be a medical doctor, I also double majored in business because my backup plan was that if things didn't work out in medicine, then I could always do the family business with Dad. And I didn't know at the time that sewing that part of my life made a beautiful lay for me, because I became a physician, but I also became very interested in business and ended up owning my own business, becoming the chair of our department, but also building a wellness center for women. And I think as a young girl, I always wanted to aspire to give back to the community, and I hope that I've been able to do that. Before I got into medical school, I was a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines, and there was a baby born on board, and that was before I even went to medical school. So it kind of charted a course for me that I might be able to choose that field. I was the first female of our department and the first Native Hawaiian of our department. And so once I was able to get that title, it was such an honor for me. I can't even begin to express how much it meant to me. But moving that forward, I feel like it's been such an honor for the patients that I care for, that they really look up to me for that, in that role. And they ask me, like, how do you think women's health is going to go, and what do you think is going to happen to women in the future? And I said, well, You know, we're making some amazing trends and we're making some amazing headway in diversifying our leadership, and I feel very lucky that I got to be the one that was chosen to do that. And I was chosen by my peers, so it's a huge honor for me, and I'm so blessed to be able to help in my department at Kapiolani. I just want to say that I'm grateful to YWCA since they've been around since the 1900s and continuing to lead women into the future and also to change, be diverse and to move with the times and recognize that nothing is static, that things change, families change, communities change, and the YWCA has been able to do that, keep up with what our community needs and what our women need, and lead us into the future where women can be a part of our community as leaders, as role models.
Congratulations and mahalo to our 4 2021 YWCA Oahu Leader Luncheon honorees. Once again, Tori Abe Carapello, Rachel Wong, Dr. Angela Pratt, and Iris Y. Matsumoto. Because of your extraordinary achievements and your commitment to supporting the next generation of women leaders, the YWCA Oahu thanks and honors you. As the YWCA continues its mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all, it will take the support of our community, our local partners, volunteers, and generous donors to continue to fund programs like Dress for Success Honolulu, Fernhurst, and the Patsy T. Mink Center for Business and Leadership. Besides providing direct services, the YWCA Oahu is also often leading some of the campaigns that you hear about in our community, and sometimes even on Hawaii News Now. Campaigns like Stand Against Racism, Week Without Violence, Women's Legislative Caucus Breakfast, and the 21-day Racial Equity and Social Justice Challenge. It is through these types of campaigns, advocacy work, and events like the Leader Luncheon that the YWCA Oahu turns daily injustices into long-term change. Over the years, the YWCA has adapted and shifted to stay relevant to fit the needs of our community. Today, it is the community support, local partnerships, and collaborations that keep the YWCA Oahu on a mission. On behalf of the staff, leadership team, and the board of directors of the YWCA Oahu, mahalo for joining us for the YWCA Oahu a 2021 Leader Luncheon celebration. I'm Grace Lee with Hawaii News Now for YWCA Oahu.